This is the Tech Phantom, and welcome to episode 16 of this Dark Souls walkthrough, where we are chronicling the tales of Conan in the land of Lordran. Conan knows the likeliest place for Black Dragon Calamity to appear. There was a large open area by a waterfall, and it was near the place where Goff's great bow had pierced through Calameet's wings and forced it down. To honor Goff, Conan had decided to battle Kalameet and take its head as a trophy. He did not know what to expect. He had fought dragons before, but these were unusual and of a different type. They were from a previous area. They were from a previous era. And Kalameet was one of the last remaining ancient dragons. According to Goff, even mighty Anor Londo, Tulsa Doom, Lord Wynn, and his knights were weary of Black Dragon Calamity. The first encounter was grievously short. Calamity showing his full prowess and making quick work of Conan. Conan was furious. "Come! This I swear! No more deaths!" Conan did not make futile promises. He had sworn to his god Chrome that there will be no more deaths to Kalameet. His pride as a fighter had been injured by the ease with which Kalameet had dispatched of him. He had gone into the battle unprepared, overconfident, and that had cost him. He had forgotten the teachings and the lessons that he had learned throughout his many battles. There had been other times where he had been surrounded by enemies and faced what seemed to be unsurmountable odds. But his fighting spirit would not let him give up. His soul kept him on, and even if he thought there was no way he could succeed, his fighting spirit willed him on and found a way. This is how he felt as he approached Black Dragon Calamity. He would be more careful this time. He would not dash in, and he would be extremely weary of the stomping attacks that Kalameet could do on him. Kalameet was an immense beast. Instead of fire, it spewed out incredibly powerful black magic, many times stronger than fire. Truly a difficult and dangerous opponent. His two eyes had merged into one. In addition to the swiping attacks with his tail, his legs, and his magical breath attacks, Kalameet also possessed the power of cursing, the power of Calamity. He could inflict the status on his enemies, which will result in them taking much more damage from Kalameet's attacks. The wizard had told Conan about the myth of the Calamity Ring, an item that made its wearer almost invincible because of the curse effect it inflicted on its opponents. Could it be that the Calamity Ring was originally created by Black Dragon Kalameet? He felt that the myth was indeed truth and not fiction. Kalameet attempted many times to put the Calamity curse on Conan, but Conan was now in the zone. He had studied Kalameet's attacks, and he was starting to get in the flow of the battle. He had come close to death on a couple of occasions, but he felt more confident now. He felt like he had a measure of Kalameet. The fight was long. The help he was gaining from the power within incantation that steeled his attacks had long worn away. This was one of the toughest and longest fights during his time in Lordran. And he continued to battle and take damage and do damage to Kalameet. There were also rumors that Kalameet's tail could be severed and a powerful dragon weapon could be obtained. Conan doubted it was better than his trusty claymore. By this time he had become so accustomed to its weight that it felt almost like a part of him, and he would not exchange it for even the mightiest of swords. The claymore proved true to its use, and Kalameet went down after a final attack. When he looted the body, he found the mythical Calamity Ring. I will have to tell the wizard. Yes, the wizard will be very happy to know that the Calamity Ring was indeed fact and not fiction. And Conan would be able to tell the wizard about its true creator, Black Dragon Kalameet. Conan returned to the bonfire, tended his wounds, and rested. He felt relief after the long and tortuous fight. It seemed that this entire world of Elysial, having been corrupted by whatever creature brought him here from the present, was actually more difficult than anything that he had faced in Lordran and even back in Colonia. The enemies were strange, powerful and made as much use as they could of the dark magic. Conan felt that it was time to put an end to whatever the source was of this perverse and evil magic. He decided to venture further into the deepest reaches of the abyss. He thought it was time. He would find the kidnapper, Manus, and he would free himself, and he would also free Dusk of his evil clutches. Manus's disguise, Tuthamun's disguise as Manus, would not save him. He wanted to be rid of this place and return to Lordran to continue with his main objective and seek out his ultimate revenge on Tulsa Doom, Lordwyn. He finally reached the lowest levels of the abyss, sensing the strong presence of both dark magic and an evil, perverted creature. He finally understood. He was dragged down even deeper by the same hand that had transported him here from the present into the long-lost Elysial past. The true master of this place was revealed. It was a great beast. It was no longer human. One of its hands had swollen and engorged to gigantic size. Conan recognized this as the hand that transported him here. Could this be the furtive pygmy that he had heard about so long ago at the beginning of his travels in Lordran? Perhaps. Manus's attacks were powerful and quick. One hand wielded a massive staff, specifically designed by Manus for this dark type of magic, imbuing it with even more power. He used both physical and magical attacks, variety of moves. This indeed was a grand challenge for Conan, a worthy adversary. A great warm-up to the final confrontation with Tulsa Doom. He remembered Tuthamon as the greatest of magicians in Hyboria. And here he saw his true form. His humanity had escaped and corrupted the place. If he was the furtive pygmy, then the immensely powered Dark Soul had been corrupted, and the serpent had tricked the denizens of Elysial to awaken this great beast. Conan did know if this was the case. He would have to ask the wizard for confirmation of his theory. When the beast was finally dead, Conan was able to free Dusk. She had obviously been traumatized, and who knew what evils Tuthamon had placed on her. It would be a long time for her to recover under the good graces of Elizabeth, and Conan wished her well on her recovery. Although this land, the past land of Elysil, was dangerous, it was proving to be a rich source of resources and loot. Conan was able to strengthen his skills and his power more and more. He seemed to be getting stronger as he got closer to Tulsa Doom. He wanted to be at the absolute peak of his powers when he finally confronted his Bane and his archenemy. Having destroyed Manus, Conan discovered that he could warp between the past and the future using the bonfires. The Wizard of the Mounds had told him that in the great library of Seath there was a special chamber that housed great treasures. He had asked Conan to retrieve an item specifically made to imbue a magical incantation on weapons. A magical enchant on weapons. He hoped there would be more useful loot besides that. But the wizard was his great friend, and he would do his service to him. He reached the place where he had first found Seath and looted the large magic ember. Surely this is what the wizard wanted. He looked around the frozen library and found his reward, the soul of a fallen great hero, which he immediately put to good use. After a quick visit to the bonfire of the Daughter of Chaos, Conan decided to go back to Elysil and tell Goff of the news of his battle with Kalameet. As he approached the tower, he could hear the giant working at his new craft of wood carving.
Why, thou hast defeated Calamity? Wondrously played. Lord Gwyn's blessing upon thee. That beast will never take to the skies again.
Goff Goff congratulated Conan.
This great bow
And Conan was once again reminded of the
I know not if a
power
demon could even operate.
and the deceit of Lord Win Tulsa Doom.
My need outweighs mine.
He had been able to convince four great knights to fight for him,
There's very little to be said.
even the noblest of them all,
With no hands to hunt.
Goff and
I'm lucky to be
Artorias,
alive, I
had been
suppose.
deceived and had been convinced by Lord Win
But I'm lucky.
to do his bidding.
Farewell, proud human. May every honor
But
be
Conan would not
bestowed
fall
upon
prey to the stare and the hypnotic powers of Tulsa Doom. His hatred and his revenge, his want of revenge, were shield enough against those powers, and he will never rest. He will never give up the struggle against Tulsa Doom, Lord Win. Before leaving this place once and for all, and returning to the present time, Lordran, Conan had one more visit to make. He used the bonfire to return to Elysial Sanctuary. He must tell Elizabeth
I have awaited
about
thee.
Dusk.
Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk and rid us of that terrible primeval human. Even halting the speed of
Elizabeth
fist,
confirmed
I
that Dusk
salute
was
the
under her
grandeur of
care
thine
and well on her
enterprise.
way to recovery.
Please allow me to
She
express
also
my
confirmed
gratitude. I thank thee.
that Manus
Do we all?
was indeed the furtive pygmy, the primeval human, who had found the incredibly
I will
powerful
remember
Dark Soul.
thee, but I will keep thy story to myself.
It was obviously the
This is
most
best
powerful
way.
of the
For
shards,
thou art come
because
from
it had been
time far ahead.
able
No
to
one will
corrupt
sing thy praises.
the entire
Yet
land,
thy greatness shall live on, for it
and
shall be
even
my purpose
from the
to
past it
remember
extended its reach
all
into the
thou hast
future.
done for us. May the flames
Attack in
guide
Lordran.
thee.
Conan was now ready to go back, fulfill his promise, and finally find and kill Lord Win Tulsa Doom.